Welcome to another episode of Titan PI TV, where we're looking at the inside workings of a live operational investigation agency, that being here, Titan in Derby. We're also available on Titan PI TV podcast, which is available wherever you download your podcasts. So doing something a little bit different today. What we usually do is we talk about services which we provide. We also discuss areas in which subscribers and people in the industry want us to cover. But today we're doing something a little bit different. So today we thought we would take advantage of the sunshine and walk through Derby town centre. So as you can see behind me, I am being followed. So I want to talk a little bit about foot surveillance. So that operative behind me will be working either alone or ideally in an A, B, C format. So the person in A will have the eyeball and will have primacy on the radio and will be commentating on my movements to the rest of the team. The rest of the team will be the person in B, which will be the person in backup. And their main priority really is to be in a position to take the eyeball at any time that it is required. And then you've got the person in C, which is the supporting role. The supporting role will basically be looking at potentially doing any alternative routes. So it might be a parallel route, or they might just be on the other side of the road. And when I cross the road, it naturally forces them to take backup position. So the operative who's behind me, I think you can just about see him. He's got a certain percentage of his concentration. So there's only 10% of his concentration on me, and things he'll be looking at there are intelligence. So it might be he's able to get close or close enough to hear a telephone call, for example, because I might be able to give some intelligence in regards to where I'm going, who I'm going to meet, going to catch a train, a bus, whatever. He's picking up on intelligence. He's got 45% of his concentration behind him, or behind me. And things he'll be looking at there will be things like, am I performing anti-surveillance? Is there a counter-surveillance team there? So counter-surveillance is when you use other operatives to follow me to try and identify if I'm under surveillance. We'll also be looking at things like cover. So using, for example, street furniture or people as cover. So if I suddenly turn around, he won't be seen. And then he's got another 45% in front of the subject, in front of me. And he'd be looking at things like the topography. What's ahead? Is there any major risks, such as a bus station, or a railway station, or a shopping centre? Or adversely, you might be thinking there's an open space up there, which is a massive risk, because then it might go suddenly quiet. He'll also be looking for hazards. Hazards such as a crossroads or a pedestrian crossing which is on red, so he'll have to start timing his distance. He'll also have a piece of elastic between me and him, an imaginary piece of elastic. So when we go into a quiet area, that piece of elastic will be stretched to the max. And the reason it'll be stretched to the max is because it's a quiet area and he needs more distance between us. However, it's the opposite if, for example, we go into a busy area. That elastic will be dragging on the floor because he needs to be close to me, because there's so many people between me and him and I could just disappear. So those are some very basic principles around foot surveillance. So what I'm going to cover next is around how I deal with it once I have identified that I'm under surveillance. So I'm going to talk about anti-surveillance and methods that we can use to be able to get away from the surveillance team, but I'll discuss that further in a moment. So that's another episode of Titan PI TV. Please feel free to give us a thumbs up, or if you don't want to miss further episodes, please subscribe to the channel. Or, like I said earlier, download it where you download your podcast, Titan PI TV podcast. Till next time.